Many years ago, approximately, we are talking of 20 to 25 years ago, a young man from the slopes of Mountain Elgon set his voice for the very first time on 103.7 Radio Maria. Radio Maria celebrates a generation, 30 years of service, 30 years of Marian service in Uganda. And today, ladies and gentlemen, on our second episode of 30 years, the milestone interviews, we have a celebrated author, a father, a husband, a mentor, Mutoto wa Maria, tired but not tired, Colonel Godfrey Wababa, ladies and gentlemen, on our second episode. Colonel, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, all those titles belong to me. I'm very happy that you have mentioned them because they used to be a president of Uganda. And when they are reading news and they don't finish all his titles, you will not survive. They would call Ali Haji Salong, conqueror of British Empire, chairman of AU, Field Marshal.
And they
I
have
will
to
not
be
mention the name, but the Ugandans know him.
Yes.
So thank you very much for dressing me up to my location.
Actually, Colonel, before you introduce yourself, I first listened to you on Radio Maria when I was a young kid. You used to do your program on Monday. Then we interacted again when I started moderating you on Radio Maria. And today we meet for the very first time physically.
I really thank God for that. That means you were even in nursery school. Not even primary, but in nursery. So I really thank God.
Yeah.
Because most of the presenters, or volunteers, they are called volunteers. Most of the 90% left because of economic reasons. Yes, they could not work. Me, I was working because I was getting salary from Air Force. Yes. But now, volunteering when you have no water at home to drink, no rent, so most of them left.
Yeah. Colonel, we are very much excited to hear from you, but we have missed out one thing. We have said all this, but now it's your time to introduce yourself to the people, what you do, and everything. Then we can go on.
Yes, dear viewers, as my moderator has already mentioned, I'm only going to confirm I am called Lieutenant Colonel, retired. But then I also added on, not retired, but officially it is not added on, Godfrey Wababa. And he mentioned it from the slopes of Mount Elgon. I come from Eastern. Although Jesus said there are no Jews, there are no what, there is no tribes. That's the problem we have had in Uganda. So I grew up there in Bali Bududa now district and did my primary education there. Then I went to St. Peter's because those days when you are a Catholic, you fill the forms for Catholic schools. When you are a Protestant, you fill for Protestant. When you are a Muslim, you feel Kibuli. So I finished my education, secondary education in St. Peter's College, Tororo, up to senior 6. Then my father died. He was a primary teacher called Matthew Muboki, those senior teachers of 1950s. So I saw an advert for Soroti Flying School. It was called by that time, that name, but now it is called East African Aviation Academy. And I went to study aeroplanes, maintenance of aeroplanes, so it is engineering. And after completing, God's plan is not our plan. I found myself, instead of going to Uganda Airlines or any other company, there are so many other companies even in Kenya. I joined the Air Force, and that's where I worked for 30 years. And after that, I joined the UN. UN, people were thinking by leaving Air Force when you are an old man, you will not get a job, but UN takes experienced people. So at the age of 54 is when I started working in UN and reached retirement age of 62. So I'm retired, but now the work of God continues. That's why, in brief, that is my journey. And when 2002, I left other radio stations. There was one called Radio 1 Spectrum. I was a fan of that one. I started listening to Radio Maria. Then one time when I started with the Father Mbareba.
Father Isidore Mbareba.
Isidore Mbareba. Then I continued with the rest, Father Baka.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Kano, that means you're coming to the city. It was after you were done with your aviation course.
Exactly.
And that's how you start life.
Yes. So, I had never come to Entebbe before. It was after completing my engineering course of aeroplanes.
Meaning, if your entire life it has been Budadiri, then
Bududa. Budadiri is the northern, for ours is the south.
Bududa, actually, we share the same archdiocese. I'm also from Tororo.
Yes, okay, yeah. Tororo archdiocese.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's from that side that you come to Entebbe, and Entebbe has been part of you. No,
90% of my life, because when I came to Entebbe, I was 26 years old.
Yeah.
And I believe that was in 1982, around 27 years old. From that time, my children and grandchildren, we have settled here. That is more than 40 years.
Yeah.
Yes, in 1986, if we can subtract, it is 40 years. So this is why I have stayed here serving God in the parish of Bugonga. Now, where we are talking from is a sub-parish called Katavi St. Joseph.
All right. Kano, thank you very much. You had talked something about media. So let's start talking about your media journey. How does it start? And when you first interact with Radio Maria, how did that start? Did someone just give you a call? Or you just walked into Radio Maria, you can do this?
Very good. Yes. Thank you for that good question, because the viewers have always wondered, you are a soldier. How did you get involved in these religious, spiritual matters? So, first of all, 1993, 91, I joined Legion of Mary, and we were meeting in somebody's home every Sunday. Then we started the outreach, prisons, homes, and so on. Then the spirituality was now growing. I was not even married in church. So they told me that to be a confirmed member of Legion of Mary, you should be receiving sacraments. Yeah. So that sacrament, the most important sacrament in our Catholic faith is the Eucharist. Yeah, so I wedded my wife in 1992. And there I became now a confirmed member of Legion of Mary. Yes. Now, as I was a fan of listening to Radio Maria, it was now around 2002. The director of Living Rosary Association, they sent sacramentals, and then I recruit members to recite a decade of the Rosary daily. So she appointed me to be the national representative of Living Rosary Association. It is not a different rosary, it is the same Mother Mary's Rosary.
Yes.
Now, when people learned about it, and I was talking about it on Radio Maria by phone call, a librarian in Makerere University, now I can call her by her title. She's called Sister Leonard. She was a librarian. She was not a sister at all in the convent. She ran the studio and asked Father Baka at that time that let Captain Wababa come and explain to us the Living Rosary Association, what it entails, what is it about. Let him be allowed to come to Radio Maria and explain that devotion. So I was even listening. Then Father Baka told me that, are you ready to come to the studio? I said, yes, Father. So I went. But to make it, you know, old age now also can make me bring facts again differently. Father Baka came after Father Mbareva.
Yes.
So it was actually Father Mbareva's time when the story I've told you happened. You see,
so it was Father
memory.
Mbareva that called you.
Yes, Father Mbareva called me. I went and then I started. But shortly after him, that's when Father Baka came. That's why I'm remembering Father Baka. It was Father Mbareva. Yes. So that is how I came to be associated with the Radio Maria. I used it to go every Monday, then they would change to Saturday, Sunday. I present, then I travel back to Entebbe. And I was still serving as an Air Force officer.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Good correction.
How big was the team? How did the place look like? Which people do you remember that you started serving?
Yes, okay, we have already talked about that director. Isidore, Martin Chivoya, then...
Okay, Kano, thank you very much. Father Mbareva at that point was the director. So
yeah, with how are they called? The ones who come from Italy, because there was Father Agostino, very old.
He also worked with Leadership magazine.
Yes. So then Father Scalabrin, who is buried in
Bina.
Yes, those two. They are the representatives of the Italy, where the radio was established.
And then what of the other team? Which people were there?
Oh, the
production team or on-air staff? On
ours. As I told you, since I was in the studio, the ones I was familiar with, Martin Chivoya, the late Sewanyana, and also Kintu. Those are the ones who moderated my first program on Radio Maria, but COVID took him. And then Kato was always also moderating my program. Then we had the Musoke and Grace in the recording. Yes, sometimes I wouldn't go there, then he would edit from what he has been recording.
From the last programs.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, it is so interesting that now, instead of going there, Musoke advised me to be recording, and then they play it when I'm not there in the studio. So the problem came with the listeners who were complaining that we are not asking questions these days as you used to. Yes.
Yes.
So now, again, technology later on, I would be on phone, and I would allow the questions to be asked, and I would hear and answer. Yes. So that is how. But there were very many in accounts in the studio. We had Jaja. I was very happy to find her there when we had.
There.
Yes, Jaja. She told me her daughter or son is in America. Security, the people in the church, the choir, finance. I can't remember all the names. Yes.
Looking at Radio Maria, the overall, physically, the team, the people that are there, what has changed from the other days?
Oh, there's a very tremendous change. And that change, I attribute it to God. It's God's providence. Because there was a time Radio Maria would close down because of the dates, the taxes for communication, the electricity bills, the water, the fuel, and I would announce, since I was a sub-priest in a sub-parish near Bugonga, I would announce during my announcements of the church that Radio Maria has closed because of the debt of 6 million. I remember the first one, 6 million. They were not happy. They said, why didn't they tell us? They contributed. I stood at the door of the church. I carried 2 million, and the balance was contributed. And from that time, the management changed the system of trying to get the money from the listeners, because the radio was very popular.
Yeah,
morals, educating about the faith of the Catholic faith, where there have been misunderstanding and the people run out of the church. So now the change has really been tremendous, and as I say, I attribute it to God and the management to see how they can make the outreach and get funds to support. Because it's non-commercial.
Yeah.
Non-commercial, and Father Scalabrini, they late.
Yes.
He told us in the listeners get together meeting that when they came from Italy and they met Cardinal Wamala, they told him this radio is going to be non-commercial.
Yeah.
He told us that Cardinal Wamala said, I cannot accept a radio which is non-commercial, and how will it be funded? It will close after 2 months. They said the Catholics themselves will support the radio. Then he reluctantly accepted it, and you see
30 years down the road.
Yes, you see all this is 30 years. And what is interesting is that me being a security person, I was standing a very big risk of being a serving officer and then being a presenter on a radio, which might have a political bias. I would have been taken to court martial. I even worked in the court martial for 6 years. So what I liked about Radio Maria, and I got protected. In the studio, there was a writing that no politics on air. You see?
Yeah.
Now, one time there was a Kayunga incident. I can call it Kayunga incident.
Yeah.
Which was being publicized on radios. And even Radio Sapienza, which is a Catholic radio, was closed down. But not Radio Maria.
Radio Maria stayed standing.
Then I stood another big risk. As a serving officer, you are not supposed to get 2 salaries. You can have some small business with your family, but you cannot be employed in the army, and then you are employed like in another ministry, and you are getting 2 salaries. So my bosses in the Air Force investigated and found out that even a bottle of mineral water I was not getting, even transport I was not getting. They were saying, wondering what this one is only serving. But if Radio Maria was paying salary, I would have been in problem. Yes.
All right.
Those are the 2 issues there. No, non-commercial, and then no payment for the volunteers. That's why they were called volunteers.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why I told you at the beginning that the majority of the people I started with left.
Yes.
Because really, even if you are doing God's work, you need the food at home, paying rent, educating your children. So they would leave.
All right, Colonel, thank you very much. What are some of those experiences you have with Radio Maria and you carry them up to the grave?
The experiences, the whole world has known me because of Radio Maria. They ring me, send messages from China, from Nigeria, from Germany, from Britain, from Australia, and all of that is because of my voice on Radio Maria. One time I finished presenting the program at night, traveling to Entebbe. A call came from Germany. He said, we are Ugandans in Germany here. We listen to you on Radio Maria and we would like to invite you to come and talk to us. Another one rang from Nigeria. And like that, I felt that experience has now made me a celebrity. I can say, not in a bad way.
In a good way.
In a good way. And then the spirituality. You know, Radio Maria is concentrating on the faith.
Yes, Colonel.
No advert, as I have said, no commercials. Now that faith, it makes you stronger stronger.
Yeah.
Because you listen first to the preachings right from morning up to the whole 24 hours. Then yourself preparing these topics which I prepare. I do a lot of research. Even some people, one time a lady rang me from Kampala. She's called Philomena. She used to be in Entebbe, then she was now working in Kampala, and she talked in Uganda. She said, my neighbors here are not Catholics, they are born again, they are non-Catholic, but they don't miss your program. But today they have talked about you like this. They have said, this man is telling us lies. He told us that he has never stepped in the seminary. Where does he get those facts which really he presents on Radio Maria if he has never stepped in the seminary? I said, this is now the mistake of all of us human beings. We think that the work of God is only for people who have trained in the seminary, and those are the ones who can evangelize. No. The apostles, the 12 apostles, never went to the seminary. And when Jesus was sending them, he said, go and teach. To teach what when they have never been in a seminary? It was Jesus himself who was teaching them. So if a priest is teaching and you also imitate him and you pass on the message, a lay person can do as you are all doing this work. A lay person, 90% of Radio Maria is of lay persons. We have, I think, very few priests who come there, mainly to celebrate Mass, and those who present the programs.
Yeah, very true.
Very few. The majority are lay people.
Yeah.
So that experience, I really love it until my grave, unless now that I'm retired from the army, also from UN, nobody can tell me that why are you presenting programs on Radio Maria? No, nobody can stop you that. Then if it was a political and people, because Father, the late Scalabrini again, during the listeners get together, he told the MP, I remember very well, he was the MP of Busiro. This is Busiro.
Yeah.
Wakiso. Okay.
Yeah.
He said he was called, he's late, he was called Barikudembe. He said, go and tell your fellow MPs, the Catholic MPs, that Radio Maria is not a platform for politics. If they want to contribute, let them support, but not to use Radio Maria for their political agenda. I liked that, and I got encouraged.
It was a strong message.
Yes, a very, very strong message. If you don't want to contribute, you don't have to contribute in order to come and abuse. One who entered there, he was an opposition politician without the knowledge of the director. So he was saying, people are suffering in the north, in the IDP camps because of this government. Hey, that's when I knew that even when you are talking at midnight, they are listening, the bosses are listening. He came. It was Father Ida Scalabrini at that time. Yes. He came and said, who told you to come here in the studio? Get out. And he went away, and from that time, no politician has. I don't know who made the mistake of calling him to present a program.
All right, Kano, thank you very much. There is something you told me some time back about writing to the Pope and your experience with the Pope Nuncio.
Very good.
Yeah. And
so you have a very good memory, because me, when I'm talking like this, I have a full encyclopedia. Even when I was in Holy Land, one of the pilgrims, a senior man older than me, said, you are our encyclopedia. What does this mean? So actually, that is a very good experience of writing to the Pope. First of all, even in the military, you don't write it to the army commander without going through your commanding officer. You see? But now, why I wrote is because of Radio Maria again. Father Baka, when he was the director of Radio Maria, and he was presenting the program, he said, anybody can write it to the Pope. It was John Paul II. This is the address. I copied the address. Yes. He said, anybody can write to the Pope. So I copied the address and wrote to the immediately. Without him saying, before the letter goes to the Pope, you should write it through your parish priest, the bishop, the nuncio. No, he didn't mention it like that. So me, I just wrote. Now, when I was telling people as we are talking like this, people said, how can you write to the Pope direct? Any letter is supposed to go through the nuncio. Oh God, I said, now I've dug my own grave. Now people are going to even maybe send me away from Radio Maria. How can I write to the Pope direct? Now, God really made a very good miracle for me.
Yes.
The nuncio is now the nuncio of United States.
Yeah.
Is called Christopher Pierre. So Pierre. He was invited to the Vincentian to open the Vincentian retreat house of the priests. So he came with the Bishop Kakoza. Now, Father Baka was also there. All of us, the Catholics, were there. And the ambassador of India was also there.
Yes.
Now, I asked Father Baka, I said, is it possible I talk to the nuncio? He said, no, there's no problem. You just enter and you talk to me. I said, I even want to take a photograph to put in my first book. I'm seated with him and Bishop Kakoza.
Yeah,
about Philomena. So we took the photograph. Then I revealed to him. I said, Your Excellency, I got the address for the Pope and I wrote to him a letter about my work in the church of Living Rosary. I was explaining to him what I do as a lay person. Then I said, but I'm getting comments that I made a mistake, I should have written it through you. Yes.
Yeah.
Then he said, okay, give that letter 2 weeks. If you don't receive the reply, then you bring now the copy. You write another one through me. But give it 2 weeks. So one time after 1 week, I was going for the evening mass in Bugonga Church. I saw a letter, just like a parcel, at the place. You know, when we go for the mass, we have particular places where you get used to sitting.
Yeah.
So the letter was put there. Of course, I cannot claim a miracle of bringing the letter from from Vatican up to there. No, I can't claim that miracle. But it came, I'm sure, on my address. Then it should be the people in the office who just knew that Wababa is coming for mass, that he will find this letter there. Up to now, I've never known who brought the letter. So when I opened, I saw the Pope's reply. And I have it, I've photocopied it, I have it up to now, and yet that was 2002 or 3 years when I had just started. Yes, around that time.
Some people may ask, what was Kano telling the Pope?
Yes.
Were you just narrating
no,
or just greeting
even
him?
The priest asked me, Obado muhandikira ki? Omugamba ki? Then it was so plain. I was only talking about how I'm involved in years.
Yeah.
Then I was invited to give a talk to the seminarian in Swangere Primary School. Seminarian, then Father Boniface. I was now going with that letter, the reply from the Pope. So Father Boniface got the letter and showed the children, the seminarian. He said, I've been a priest for 10 years. I've never communicated with the Pope. I've never received any. He said, you see Captain Wababa. He read the letter.
Yeah.
So actually what I was writing is about my evangelization. Then the reply was, he was in his last moments.
Ailing years.
He had got this sickness of shaking. So even the memory. So now the Monsignor who wrote it, he said, you know, his situation now, he cannot do anything, so, but he gives you the blessing in your work for the church. And then he signed the Monsignor of the office of the Pope. So very interesting. I like that letter very much. It is still in my archives.
All right, thank you very much, Kano. Kano, maybe our other question is, how would you explain to someone, or let me bring it this way, what's your greatest testimony looking, I read one of your books, looking at your birth, your growth, then serving with Radio Maria.
Yes.
What's your greatest testimony?
You now don't ask for greatest testimony because I will be very unfair to leave out the other testimonies which are equally yes, but I have to be also brief, not to bring all of the the first one. I went on the airwaves on Radio Maria in the studio. I told them my mother is from a Protestant background. Her parents, everybody. My father, since my mother was not married to him, took me and baptized me in the Catholic Church. So I grew up in the Catholic Church. But my father is dead. Now I'm staying in a table with my mother. I want you, listeners, to pray for my mother to become to accept to become a Catholic. She was 70 years at that time. So I came and told her, first I went and told the director, the superior of Vincentian. I said, my mother is a Protestant, can she change? He said, bring her, bring her. So we went, they talked in Swahili. She accepted. Then I took her to the parish priest, Father Chiwanuka. He gave her a catechist, and she was baptized. And so she came back to the Catholic Church, converted, and she died the Catholic Church receiving Jesus. That is one, a quick one. The next quick one. When we were approaching elections of 2011, it was very tense, the campaigns. And military, you know, you are commander-in-chief. You have to pay allegiance to the commander-in-chief. Now, I had got the interview done of UN, but they told me, I was a major with the rank of a major, they told me, the human resource in the UN, that if you can bring a letter saying that you are no longer in the military, you start working. You asked about testimonies, that was 1, 2. Otherwise, when you give testimonies, that's why some churches, the worshiping is only testimony. No, you give just a few testimonies, and then you know the power of God. So the second testimony is about getting a very good, well-paying job. That's why you can see me. I have suits to put on. I'm staying in my mansion. I've driven 3 cars. Well, all those are from some good source of money. And that money, sorry to say, if it was still that I was retiring from Air Force with only that pension, I wouldn't have put up all that. So the testimony is, how did I manage to get a job in UN and yet I'm not yet officially retired? So I had to announce on Radio Maria, underground, without being open, that I have got an intention which I will tell you after you have prayed for it for me, and that's when I will announce. So it was that intention of to be released because someone tried to leave our Air Force and went to UN. They went to arrest him. Yes, because you are supposed to be released officially. How can you leave? It's not like any other job that you walk out to get another job. So I had to use my medical documents. I had a back problem. I said, doctor, I don't feel like continuing with the military duties. They said, but the money we can't give you because there's no budget for the retirement. So I said, no, I will wait for the money at home. So telling a white lie, they call it a white lie, I was not going home. So people prayed for me. And whenever, to prove that they prayed for me, whenever I would meet them, they would say, have you got your intention fulfilled, granted by God? I said, it is about to continue praying. Yes, until they gave me an official letter that I have been retired on medical grounds, pending the official retirement. And the UN is just here at the airport. So I started working. No, and why I call it a miracle, they never stopped my salary from military. No, I started getting 2 salaries. I got worried. I said, maybe it is a trick of allowing me the salary. Then one time they claim me back. So I went to tell them, why don't you stop paying me? They said, me, I'm getting my salary from UN. They said, no. If you were getting 2 salaries from the same treasury, it would be illegal. But this is a different organization, and you have not got a discharge certificate from the military. You continue getting your money until you retire officially, then you become a pensioner.
Yeah.
And you don't call that a miracle?
Indeed, it's a miracle.
Now, when I was a major, I told you, but you are addressing me as a colonel.
Yeah.
I retired as a major. Now, how does somebody become a colonel? You see, I can even be charged for impersonating. That is another miracle. Yeah. I was now working in the UN. Here, they are promoting the majors to lieutenant colonel. And I'm now a teetotaler, but at that time I was taking wine. I was in Kitoro sipping wine with the fellow officers of the Air Force who have been promoted. Then they rang the signal who gets the message of the people who have been promoted from major to lieutenant colonel. I'm telling you, I don't know whether now it is the Holy Spirit or it was my wine talking. I said, and Major Wababa, just talking like that, joking here. The boy read, and yet he was not hearing me. He said, Major Wababa to Lieutenant Colonel. I got a shock. First of all, it means that they are still counting me to be in the military. That is where I believed that when people compose songs, I don't know who composed that one, or is it Bob Wine, that Basimo Genze?
Jose Chameleon.
Yes, is it Basimo Genze?
Yes.
Yes. The majors who were working some of them were not promoted. This one who has left, he has been promoted.
Like that.
Then there is when you are a professional. Because I told you that I did my engineering. So they pay you on top of your salary, that professional allowance, and plus a flying allowance. The salary still, the money for professional allowance continued, and yet when you are on basic salary, this professional allowance will not continue because you are not working.
Yeah.
I said, how is God rewarding me? Or because it can't be Satan. Satan, the agenda is to destroy, to steal, and to kill.
Yeah. I
said, this must be a miracle from God. Until 5 years, I was getting both salary from military and also UN. Now they came awarding medals. The president is the one who puts the medal on you in Metiana. My name appeared again in the new vision among the officers who have been given medals. It is at home there. But I feared going to Mitiana because UN will say this man is working here with us and yet he is being awarded the medal, so he is still working in the military. I didn't go. So I came and I consulted my parish priest, Father Joseph Sebaiga.
Is now our parish priest.
Yes. He asked me one question. He said, do you have that letter which released you from the military? I said, yes, Father. He said, you go for it. Because if I hadn't gone for that medal, one time Obesiji refused the medal, that I can't accept such a medal of a government. I said, I will also be put in the same category. So I went to Parliament building and I got, so I have a medal. It's called the Independence Golden Jubilee.
Congratulations.
50, yes. And those are the miracles. Okay. The miracles which are abundant, because even the superior of Vincentian, when I went to tell him, I said, Father, I am confused because salary of military is still entering my account. Then he said, why are they paying you when you are not working for them and yet you are working in UN? I said, that is what, Father, what do I do? Then he prayed over it. He said, it is God who is doing it, rewarding you. Continue getting the money.
Amen.
Yes, and until I get a pension after officially retiring in 2015, 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't like it too. Testimonies are so many because by even you coming to follow a colonel up to his home like this, it is a miracle.
Yes.
Who am I? Who am I? Yeah. Because when we were having the feast of St. Padre Pio at Kabula Muliro, there was the chairman of the organizing committee. So when a Capuchin brother had my name, he came to me. He was studying in Lusaka. He said, you are the one who called Kano Wababa. I said, yes. He said, we have got a lecturer. He's called Father Odunga from Kenya. He said he does not finish his lecture without quoting you. I said, what are you talking? Me, Wababa? Quoting me about what? I'm not... He said, let me give you his contact. Yes, even he's going to listen to the truth. He gave me the contact. Now we communicate. He's a lecturer.
Okay.
I said, Kumbe, the small ones can become big ones as far as God sanctions everything.
Thank you, Kano. Thank you very much. Kano, now looking, I told you I read one of your books, and looking at the pain that you faced while growing up and all that you went through. I pray this interview will not only watch the interview to celebrate Kano Wababa, but may they also be inspired, probably people that are going through the situation you went through. Now, I want you to talk to that person going through that situation you went through growing up, trekking the journey of life. What advice would you give them? And how would you encourage them and motivate them?
Very good question, viewers. Some of you who haven't read my books, the one I can now talk about, or two, there is a darkness to light. And then another one, blessings of imprisonment. Because during the former regime, I was dismissed from the Army, Air Force, and then imprisoned in Luzira. But then the government was overthrown, and then I was again brought back. Okay, so that book of Darkness to Light, it is really a journey, a personal journey, which even the elders, my seniors in the church, said that book is for all of us, because all of us, the life is a journey. I looked at my journey as a very, very sad, miserable, and it is by God's divine providence and divine protection to make me reach 70 years. Even if I die now, I will have fulfilled Psalm 90, verse 10, that now God has put the age at 70, but you can reach 80 if you are strong. So, Father Kakupa Kapia came to give us a triduum. He was a chaplain of Chambogo University at that time, 1998 there. He came to give us a triduum at Blue Sisters. Then he said, anybody, before I wrote the book, anybody who has a testimony where he says it is really God who rescued him, otherwise he wouldn't even be here in this triduum, I put up my hand. I did not even go very far. The superior of the sisters stood up with the tears. He said, no, sisters, stand up and we sing for captain. I was a captain at that time. They sang. Now it was even me who was what? Shedding tears. But Father Kakupa Kapia was not shedding tears like the sisters. He was really just listening to my testimony like this. Now during the homily, because he was always ending with the mass, in the homily he said, now you people, and this encourages you viewers, he said, did you see the power of God? A boy who was supposed to be aborted, the mother wanted to abort because my father had rejected her. She was only 17 years, illiterate, she never went to school, and he was a primary grade 2 teacher, so he had preferred another one to my mother. Then the mother wanted to eject the prisoners. So this one, you would even ask me, but how did you know? When you are inside, it is her sister, the follower, who was narrating everything to me. So she failed, and then when the baby came out, and another man who wanted to marry her said, if you want to get married to me, I'm not ready to look after another man's child. So the mother was now, catch 22 is where you are between a hard surface and a rock. Which decision? This baby, where do I leave it? Then the man, I want to get married. So she abandoned the baby, that is me, at her father's place, who had also sent away her mother, that she is producing only girls, and she went with prisoners, and that was the last boy where she went with the prisoners. Now it was a step grandmother. Now my father tells me that when I came, I found you put in the sunshine, eating soil. I cried tears. I have suffered from Kwashako. So that's why the sisters went. Now Father Kakupa Kapia said, do you see the power of God? Do you see where he has come from, that journey right from the womb up to where he is? And he is flying aeroplanes, which some of you will never even touch. And I doubt whether some of you here have touched an aeroplane. So that is very motivating. Yes. The one who was supposed to be rejected, to be thrown away, is now the one who is the cornerstone. As the Bible in Psalm 118, verse 22. Yes, became a cornerstone. Now, I had to be very careful. Although I've written it in the book, I knew my mother died without knowing that I've brought out the whole history. I never broke that sad news to my mother as my auntie had told me, because she would die of a heart attack. She would just collapse. Why? The man who took her, he never stayed. He was a polygamist already. He produced only one girl with her and sent her away. She came again with that one to my grandmother. The other one in Uganda here who also married her, produced two with her, also did not marry her. Another one from Kenya who was working in prisons in Uganda here, that one produced 4. She never stayed. All those children she was bringing to the home of the grandmother who had been also divorced. It was so sad. I'm the only one who built a house for my mother. I'm the only one who bought a very big border called Boxer to make her ends meet. I'm the only one who catered for her until she died. So, people who have been reading that book, Darkness to Light, I was giving a lift to a sister who was doing her master's in Kisubi University. We were coming from Padre Pio in the evening. She had given her the copy. She said, Colonel, I have read your book with tears, but let me ask you only one question. I have given that book to another sister to read, but Colonel, what you have gone through, I'm asking you just one question. She was sitting in front of my car. Do you really smile? I said, sister, what are you talking about? Because there's even a photograph at the back of my book. I am smiling. And then the title of the book says, Darkness to Light. And even I have a photo there that at the end of the darker tunnel, there is light. Somebody is walking in that. So why shouldn't I smile, sister? She said, no, that was too much. Then another parishioner, very near where we are talking from, she read the book, and for her, she knows how she was brought up, a very soft, peaceful way. She doubted. She said, Colonel, are those stories true? I said, they are true. I suffered from Kwashako. My auntie told me that when I was about to die, and my grandmother had been divorced, and now she had come to Kachira, where Lugwaras were working in the sugarcane plantations. So she had got a man there. So my auntie said, no, you are not going to die here. Let me get the train was only 2 cents from Tororo to Kachira. She said, I walked from the place not very far, our part of Bujisu. It is actually neighboring Tororo. So he said, I walked with you on the back, and then boarded the train and reached Kachira. And I told my mother, the baby of Queen, she was called Queen, is going to die. I've brought the baby to you. Said, you leave him here. So the husband came from work from the sugar plantation, looked at the baby. He asked my grandmother that, what is this? The grandmother, this is my baby. What do you mean? Do you know that in the town here we pay money for the grave? Where are we going to get the money to bury this one? My grandmother said, okay, if you have refused my baby, I am now going back to Bujisu with my baby. It seems he loved her so much. My grandmother even confirmed that scenario and said, every day when he is coming back, he was coming with a pint of milk. It was Kwashako. Yes, he said within a very short time, you gained strength, you became very healthy. And my first nursery was in the Indian nursery because the plantation was for Indians, the sugar plantation. So I became okay and attending in a nursery with the Indian children. Little did I know that misfortune does not stop. The man who was even, because the grandmother said that he had even declared that he will look after you until even you reach university, and yet he never had a child with my grandmother. The man was bringing his things for his small store shop in the quarters. A lorry came from nowhere and knocked him and he died. Now my grandmother is there with me. No, now to make it worse, when they were going to bring the body, the Lugwara community said that it is this Mujis woman who has caused the death of our man. We must also kill her today at night. So even me, have proved it. Even if they wanted to do any harm to you, you will get one person who will come and alert you. So as somebody alerted my grandmother, he said, if you don't run away, they are going to kill you today. They say you are the cause of the death of their man. And my grandmother told somebody that you go with this baby. No, now I was no longer a baby. He said, go with this child and hide in the other house there. At night, I will pretend as if I'm going for a short call, and then I run away. And that's how we ran back to Bujisu. Only to the father to hear about the story. And I said, I want my child. He has reached school-going age. Even I was not yet baptized. So they said, if you are taking the child, you must pay a fine. He said, I have the money. He paid. Little did I know that I was coming from the frying pan to the fire. The stepmother tortured me. Even the viewers, they have never seen a cruel stepmother. Everything beating. With the radio, the knob was broken. My father was a drunkard. He comes very late at night. He doesn't know what has happened. She said, your son has broken the radio. My father tells me to kneel on stones and put the hands up in primary. She produced two. A boy and a girl. The other boy were in the same year. I was older than him by 5 months. The boy who were in the same class. We bring the reports. I'm number one. He is number last. She started warning me, if any villager comes here asking you your position, and you say you are number one, you will see me. When we are going to eat supper like this, she was a drunkard, taking a marua in a kettle like this. She started pressing my ribs. This one I'm cooking for him when his mother is sleeping with the dogs in the towns. I cry going to the what? To the grandfather. He was still alive. But the mother of my father had already died, so there was also a step-grandmother who was from the same clan with this one. The woman follows. Look at this one. His sister and his brother, they are eating supper, and he's running. Come, we go back. Come, we go back. The grandfather could not quarrel with her since it is an in-law. But if my grandmother was alive, they would have fought. So what I saw when we were having a supper like this, the greens in the village. So she put very little on my plate. She's taking her marua. She was drunk all the time. Then she knew I would finish the veggies before her children, because it was very little. And that's why exactly she was right. So she peeped and saw, because it is dad over, no electricity. She said, who wants more veggies? I said, Mommy, me. I do. She said, bring the plate. She gave. Kumbe, she was trying to look at me whether I'm observing what she's doing. She put very little veggies and then gave me. I saw the veggies as much. I started eating. Then she started laughing. Look at this one eating what I've washed in my mouth. I said, man.
Indeed, it was a lot of pain.
Every day. And the blame, I attribute it, although I pray for his soul, my father. So, my father never knew what is going on in his house because he was also a drunkard.
So what advice would you give now to those people that are under that situation right now?
is to trust in God, because so many children, I survived the death from the mother, I survived the death from Kachira, I survived the death under the stepmother, I survived the death in the Air Force. And why am I counting all those things? Is because we had a program in Visation. No, not even in Visation only, in Bukalango. It is called Family Tree. Yes. Now, and I got motivated to be preaching about it, because the superior here, he went back to India, Father Raphael. He said that if your mother, and moreover I had never told him the story, if your mother has ever rejected you and wanted to abort you, but you survived, you will be rejected in society wherever you go. I was bullied in primary, I was being beaten. In secondary school, I had maximum bullying completely, where I even said that now that I'm in the army, should I go and kill that person? Kumbe, God will say, no, I want you to convert. You cannot try to do homosexual on a boy. I was bullied. That one I've narrated in my book. Now after St. Peter's and I went to flying school, the whole class was hating me. They were calling me bagger, and I'm not a bagger. They were beating me. I said, Bana. So I was remembering how Father Raphael talked. So from there, when I got the job in the Air Force, it was again from the frying pan to the fire.
It was the same story.
The same story. They were the superiors. They were hating me. Now, God wanted to save me from the crash of the helicopter where the chief of staff died, the pilots died, the directors of medical, of engineering, of intelligence, they died in a place called Kisozi. Yes, Kisozi. Okay. They crashed in 1983 in December. So I was on duty, and all this frustration was making me go deeper in drinking. Because I would even shed tears, now I would drink. So that night, now that the priest preached that you are hated in every situation, I was on guard, and it was very cold. Yeah, those days, very cold in Entebbe here. I slept in the helicopter. So in the morning, they beat me, and God has ever brought even the one who beat me almost to death. When I was now an officer, a soldier died in Apache, and I was the one who was chosen to lead the burial team. He had run away because he was belonging to the other government. When this government came in power, he feared to come back, and yet they welcomed him. He was my translator, the one who beat me almost to death. So I said, so God is putting a test like that. And I learned that if somebody has mistreated you, when the Bible says, do not pay evil with evil, pay evil with good. Pray for that person and wish him well. It will work. That's how I've reached 71 years.
Amen.
Anybody viewing me, if you haven't read my book, Darkness to Light and the Blessings of Imprisonment, know that those who have malice to you, who have retrenched you, they were using that word retrenchment, dismissal from work, innocently, do not revenge. God does not want you to revenge. I have confirmed it, and all the blessings I've got in my life, I've never revenged on the people who did evil to me. Okay. Now, God knew that I was going to be killed by the stepmother. My father had to die. And I remember very well, even when my mother died, Father Sawava, when he was still a director of Radio Maria, he said, your mother died so that you can live. I wondered how that one is true. Come, it is true. My father died at the age of 45. He had diabetes, but he was a drunkard. I think pancreas was damaged. so that I live. Why? The stepmother was going to kill me because he had declared when the news came that her son, who was in Bukedi College, Kachong in senior 4, because he failed the P7 and repeated and now went to secondary. Yeah, he passed. He went to St. Peter's. I was the best in Bududa. He was dismissed, expelled. He was found with a teacher's wife. They expelled him. Now my father told the one who had brought the news, told me when the other cousin of the other step-brother that, Godfrey, you go ahead and study. There's no woman in the future who will complain that I never educated her son. But this one was going to kill me. Because the other one had been expelled. Now this one, my father had to die. And then when he died, I started staying with my auntie.
Okay.
And that's how I managed to finish St. Peter's. Okay. And when I went to flying school, we do practicals in Nairobi. The boy had become a thief. That is step-brother. He was in Nairobi, a thief. They hunted for him. He had stolen the property where he was working as a house boy until they killed him. So he's not living. The stepmother is not living. My father is not living. And all of that I have seen. God can protect you even in those evil circumstances, and there's nobody else. I never used even witchcraft.
Yes.
I've relied on God.
Kano, thank you very much. As we move on to the end, I want you to quickly talk about what you're doing in your retirement, writing books and the Vincentian work, and then give us your parting shots as Radio Maria celebrates 30 years, because this may be the only opportunity some of us have to leave a landmark in Radio Maria. Probably the next 30 years, some of us we may not be here, others may be handling other business, but this is the opportunity. So over to you.
Yeah, very good question. It's actually a professional question, and it also motivates the viewers. When you retire, I presented a program on Radio Maria about retirement. You must be engaged or involved in some activity. You know, this is a human body, and the spirituality also is in it. I gave example of my neighbors who were senior civil servants. They are seated on the veranda reading newspapers. I announced I'm writing a new book called Successful Aging. Actually, it is even finished. It is finished. I'm now gathering from those elders who are now above 70, 80. How have they managed to challenge the odds of life to reach? So you get involved. Now, with me, I decided to continue with the work of God. I'm preaching. I used to preach every day, but now I preach at Vincentian on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. I preach the word of God at Capuchin Palace and Padre Pio Shirane Kabula Muliro on Saturdays. Now, my Radio Maria program, which has run since 2002, that is 24 years, now I preach on Fridays. And I got inspired from the time I wrote the first book. You know, you can write a book, and when there's no readership, because sometimes either it is political or it is what, but when I saw people getting appreciating my writing, so I said, let me also have that occupation of writing the books. I'm not a farmer that I've got a farm or looking after cows and going to dig. No. So mainly I'm engaged in preaching the word of God and writing the books and staying with my grandchildren, you know, and also the children who haven't maybe got employed. We are in the same home. I feel I'm comfortable because most of my fellow officers, especially even the UN, those who went into retirement, they died immediately. They're not even finishing 2 years. Whenever I ask, where is so and so, how is it? Oh, that one died. That one died. I say, why were they not dying when they were on duty? So our retirement, what brings early death like that is psychological and a lack of faith. Yes, when you find that salary has been stopped and you are getting a very small pension and you are leading a very luxurious life and going to the extent of marrying extra wives, the pension, the retirement is going to kill you very, very fast. Very fast. So prepare for retirement, but prepare with God. Because when you pray to God, God will show you the right way of living. Any life which is without God is very, very, very useless, because you are going to be involved in sinful activities, theft. You are going to indulge yourselves, the little patient, everything until you find you have died in your bed without even any sickness, just psychological.
Yes, God.
Yes.
All right.
Thank
you very much. Now talking about the 30 years of Radio Maria, you're cutting shorts. And
Radio Maria, I should not own my suggestion so much. I would like to only be an opinion leader, so to give my opinion. Radio Maria has really uplifted many families from my experience, what I have witnessed. It has brought knowledge to many Christians, even the non-Catholics or listening to it. But if there would be a method of uplifting the volunteers instead of them running away, because me, I was only blessed to have a job and be a volunteer. There was nothing like asking for money at all. Even where I preach, they used to give me like fuel and like that. I would think they should look for a way of say giving some emoluments to sustain, because even a priest he needs some money. A priest needs money to put fuel in the car and to look after the sick mother. A priest is not a civil servant, but you will find that the money we collect in the church, they can take it for, they can assist a priest in those, because I look at Radio Maria unlike other radios, because Sapientia, they pay salaries. Why? Because they advertise. Yes. Now, this is a good one, but if we are going to say that you get people like Colonel Wababa to be a presenter, but he has a job somewhere, no, he might run a risk of even losing the job which he is in. I wouldn't like it to commit myself on that statement, but it is like an advice. Because when you come like this, it is fuel which you have put in the car. But there's maybe some little lunch allowance. I know very little. But how about where you are staying? The rent. The rent. Are you not going to get married? Or are you not married?
We are going to get married.
Yeah, how about the children? How do you look after the children? And we are the majority in the country. Uganda, Catholics are the majority. Parishes should really allocate some money as they get this money to send whatever for the volunteers of Radio Maria to be getting something monthly.
Yes.
If not, the devil will take advantage.
Yes,
I wouldn't like to reveal some things, but I know, and let me talk when the viewers are hearing, some people have been chased away from Radio Maria because of financial mismanagement. Yeah, the money is here. Why don't I take some little money to go and solve my problem, and then I account like this? No, that's the temptation.
Yes,
yes. How do we stop that temptation? By saying that no, if you are ready to work in Radio Maria, this is what we shall be giving you, because this is what we also collect.
Yes,
Now somebody, okay, let me talk. Because he's already dead. He was our chairman of radio, of Vincentian. It's called FX Francis Xavier Yiga. Now they keep changing the
presidents, coordinators.
Now what are they called? Of Radio Maria.
President of Radio Maria.
Okay. There's a director, that is a priest.
Yeah.
The president of Radio Maria.
And the coordinator.
Coordinator, Kampala, and then national coordinator. So he told me, let me talk even if he's in heaven hearing. He said, when he became the president, and even I went to his office in Radio Maria, I found, the money which has been recorded, it was money in millions, and I said, of course I know, fuel, paying taxi for the communication, and all of those services, but you are forgetting the human. So he said, I've become very, very strict. That's what he told me. He said the money, when they go to outreach stations, I want them to sign, and then when the money is handed over, here it is signed, and then we balance this money. I said, okay, that is okay. Then he told me that people, the volunteers, started complaining that he is becoming rigid on us. I told them that they never picked me from the road to come and be the president of Radio Maria. I said, then that one, even if you have the spirituality, you are oppressing people.
Yeah.
Have a meeting and say that this money which we have collected, how do we assist people who are daily here, moreover at the whole night?
Yes,
that is my opinion.
Right,
I'm sure I'm open. It's not a secret, but financial problem can affect your spiritual welfare.
All right, Colonel. Thank you.
That's why Judas Iscariot got problems. You are busy blaming Judas Iscariot. Judas Iscariot was the Minister of Finance. Now, if you are a Minister of Finance, haven't you heard about iron sheets which were going to Karamoja?
We have heard.
And the one who took the iron sheets, was he not a Minister of Finance? And yet he is here with the money, but he had to take the iron sheets.
Yes. All right, Colonel. Thank you very much.
God forgive me if I have talked wrongly, but money brought Judas Iscariot problems. Money has made the people in Radio Maria to be sacked. Money has brought some allegations in Radio Maria which we know from outside, and where they say, if so and so did this, and he was excused, why would the other one get dismissed? That is all I can
Thank
conclude.
you very much,
That is for
you.
the future of Radio Maria, according to me.
Yes,
yes, because I have told you 70, even if I collapsed this evening, I've already finished my biblical age of 70 years. But our children must continue.
All right, Kano, thank you very much, and thank you for inviting us and allowing us to come here and do this interview in Katavi South Parish, Entebbe Bugonga. We are very grateful. Thank you for being part of the Radio Maria journey. Next year it will be a silver jubilee.
Yeah.
And we pray for more life, more strength as you continue to serve and do the Marian work. Kano, maybe in a few seconds, your parting shots, the regards, maybe you are sending out regards to people. Yeah, quickly, Kano.
Okay, first of all, my family, Mrs. Josephine and my children, Matthew Muboki, my daughters, and then grandchildren. I'm a grandfather. I thank you for always being with me. Andrew Wababa, Anastasia Nanyama, Juliet Wababa, Sharon, and my parish priests, because I've also had many of them. They have been very supportive in my spiritual journey, giving me even responsibilities. My Vincentian superiors also have worked with very many since it was established. I thank you very much for accommodating me in your programs. And the superiors also and directors of Capuchins, Kabula Muriro. I thank you very much for really giving me as a lay person the opportunity to serve in your congregation. And then Radio Maria, all the directors I started with, and the presidents and all the volunteers, I really thank you. I've never got any complaint about your management, but I appreciate that my spiritual journey has really depended on the church and Radio Maria.
All right, Kano. Okay, thank you very much. That was it for our second episode with Kano Godfrey Wababa Milestone Interviews. Thanks to the management of Radio Maria, Father Raymond Kalanzi, Father John Bosco Serumaga, the coordinator, station manager Kampala, and the entire team of Radio Maria. We'll continue to bring these stories to your sitting room, but don't stop. Continue supporting Radio Maria. Marathon is ongoing, and as we celebrate 30 years, may we celebrate another 30 years of growth and of success. Chao Sanzo Nyapidi, Lukwago, Radio Maria. Our Lady of Radio Maria, Ora Pro Nobis. Our Lady of Radio Maria, Ora Pro Nobis.